Haslab, the no-holds-bar, high-budget toy campaign by Hasbro. Their goal? Make large-scale products in their biggest brands not hindered by price points or retail constraints. Yeah, sure, it has its problems, and we will talk about some of them in this video, but that's kind of a whole other thing that I want to get into another day. However, it's overall pretty interesting. Some projects have failed, and some have very well succeeded, but funny enough, all the Transformers offerings have succeeded, for better or worse. Unicron passed, even though I really don't think it should have, with the help of bots and some deadline changes. Starsaber succeeded well, Deathsaurus too, but the thing about it is, there's always a smidge of argument. Why aren't Haslab's retail? I mean, surely they could have been retail.
Not really.
Yeah, they could have, but it would have left people very unsatisfied because they mostly would have been compromised for the sake of retooling, and that. Which is why the most recent campaigns have been a bit controversial. Nevertheless, I still back them. The most recent one has barely gone into production with Leo Kaiser, but despite some release complications, the previous one has just reached our hands, which is why I am proud to present to you the Haslab offering of Robots in Disguise 2001 Omega Prime. There's a lot to cover, so let's begin. And before we begin this, I don't want to hear any of the, oh, he's so late to the game. Why is he talking about it now? You got it so early. I don't care. I really don't. I'm getting this video out when I want. You know how long it takes to write this thing? I was writing it at the same time as some of my other videos, so I don't care. I want to do this my way, and I don't want to hear anybody talking about it. I can see you back there, Carson. I can see you, Brett. I see you right there talking about it, judging me. I don't want to hear about it. All right, let's do this. Roll the film. I feel like this will work better if we choose one at a time instead of looking at them both at the same time, so we're just going to go with Ultra Magnus first. Mainly to kind of get him out of the way because he feels kind of secondary. Not to mention that it's assumed that this is the reason it had to be a Haslab in the first place. But first, I want to definitely give it credit. This is an excellent looking car carrier. I think it looks better than the original. The front end's vac metal is beautiful, and unlike the original, it comes unattached in the packaging to ensure that it's not scratched on transit. And all the parts here are separate pieces, which could prevent breakage. The wheels, unfortunately, are no longer rubber, but I think it's actually a point in its favor. That means they won't disintegrate over time like Ironhide in Dark of the Moon. And when you look at it side by side with the original, it truly does feel like the final word. Like it modernizes the design, gives it a facelift. I love that. Feature-wise, it's basically identical to the original, though. That being him rolling pretty good, and you can use deluxe cars to populate the car carrier mode, which is awesome. I will always love that feature. And this looks cool. I just really wish in hindsight I'd picked something besides Countach's. And you can take his gun up here and put it on top. Yes, his gun. That only shoots things.
And nothing else.
So yeah, Magnus's truck mode is definitely fine. Just not setting the world on fire. So let's get into the meat and taters.
Man, do I love me some taters.
This is Optimus Prime, or Fire Convoy. And man, what an upgrade. This is an excellent piece. An absolutely incredible update. Just look at this fire truck mode. It's awesome. He's staunchly accurate to the original fire truck he's based on, which is a Hino Marita Super Gyro Ladder MH Turntable Ladder Truck. Gosh, say that 3 times fast. And before we go on, there's something I need to discuss here. This thing scales fine with generations, no matter what Twitter contrarian bully or urchin might tell you. And the only reason people are mad about it is because they want to go straight to the Laser Prime mold, not scaling with it at all. You're right, it doesn't. But you can't blame this thing for it, considering the fact that this stupid mold was undersized to begin with and built off another undersized figure. And I'm sure I made a lot of people mad. I'm sorry, I really don't like this mold, and I would know because I've owned it 3 times. And I only bring this up because a lot of people use this as an excuse to bitch out a Haslab and justify it missing out on it. And this is all because it doesn't scale with Scourge. Well, blame Scourge for that. He's undersized as hell. Anyway, this is an excellent fire truck mode, and it's less of a hybrid between the two models and is way more accurate to the triple axle variant. You will notice the front is more angled than the original. That is a prominent feature of this triple axle. This is also a very nice shade of red we have going on here. My friend That Toy Guy pointed out in his review that it makes the other one look a bit dull, and he's absolutely right. It does. It's way brighter of a red here, but the plastic has changed over the years, so cuckoo ka-choo. You'll also notice the new one has a better gray on the ladder than the old one, and the hose head is also chrome. I didn't like that at first when I first got this set, but it's kind of grown on me in the coming weeks. It's almost like they installed it later on, which kind of gives it a more rugged look. I do like that. Also, there's loads of panel lining and greeble detail down the side, which is perfect for a Haslab. Also, there's 5mm ports if you want to weaponize it. I'm not going to do that right now. As for the rest of the detailing, it's kind of a weird middle ground between the R.I.D. version and the Car Robots version. You'll notice it has the Japanese license plate, but there's a subtle Autobot logo on the side. That's a Robots in Disguise detail, meaning that this is also a hybrid of that as well. But strangely enough, Ultra Magnus didn't have his Autobot logos, making him the Car Robots version. As for features, he also rolls pretty good, and we have a bunch of the fire truck functionality. As for the lights and sounds, they're gone. I wish they still did the wee-woo, 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 but everything else is still here. Mostly. The ladder is ratcheted, so you can move it just about any way you want, although the ratchet is very, very tight. You can also move the water hose turret head around, and just the way the nozzles articulate, it reminds me of that robot at the elevator in WALL-E, moving his hands around. The missiles still flip out, however they don't fire, and my older subscribers might recall why I'm just fine with this. God, is anyone... You can also take the missiles out and do whatever with them. I don't really know what else you could do with them, but at least now I don't have to worry about it shooting me in the face or blowing up the Spy Changer Universe's Energon supply, God help them. Can you believe Daytonus laughed with X-Brawn when he blew it up? Like, congratulations, you idiot. You doomed everyone, not just the Decepticons. And of course, the ladder extends. You may also notice the seat up here is correctly scaled as opposed to the other versions with a smaller, undersized seat. Seriously. Even on the real thing, the seat is massive. And at least this time it's functional. Say hello to Emissary, the headmaster for Cerebros and Robots in Disguise, who is a conduit for Brave Maximus, who is hidden on Earth. This was a very random inclusion due to the fact that there was literally never a Titans Return Brave Maximus made. I gotta say though, he is very, very nice looking. The chrome on him looks good, and the head mode is just awesome. I love those yellow eyes, and the chrome face is just... it just brings it out. I'm telling you, it looks great. To be fair, the camera really doesn't do it justice. It looks way better in person. So yeah, he can sit down in the chair there and operate the ladder, which is nice. I would have liked to see a Koji or a Tai minifigure, or hell, both at this price point. But at the same time, this is nice. And now you can have Emissary on the back of the fire truck like Kramer from Seinfeld.
The Sonos down! The Cosmos got the caboose!
And I guess you can include the function of this base in features for vehicle mode, as it's meant to be the space bridge tile from the show as they use it to cross the globe. This is one of the sillier things in the stretch goal process, as Vangelis once pointed out in the live stream.
You can put all your items.
The two squares become a rectangle. Jesus
You could put your TV dinner on it.
So let's make two squares become a rectangle. You take those two struts, plug them in, and bam. Just like that.
Geometry.
You can put them on there, and it looks kind of cool, but you can't put both of them on there. So that kind of sucks, but overall, it's still a really cool fire truck mode, and I'm really pleased with it. So I guess we should move on to robot mode. We'll start with Magnus because, well, his transformation is not as similar to the original, and it's actually kind of a weakness for me. I don't really care for it as much as the original because it takes some things that were very good about it and kind of make it worse for all the more for it. But anyway, let's get into it. I'll kind of show you as we go along the stuff I don't like. So first thing you want to do is go ahead and flip that open, quite like the original, I might add, on both sides. This piece will slide out. This is actually the part I don't like. However, it does make it a little more stable, but you just disconnect that, and then you take the carrier part off, like the original, and then fold this up, and then you're left with an approximation of the cab mode from the original without the stability of the fist because they're now folded up. But what you want to do is unpeg basically everything, I guess. But from then on, you just kind of, like I said, untab everything really, and just kind of unfold everything. And then really, we're already kind of halfway done there. You've got just about everything unfolded now. Just go ahead and unplug the back metal bumper, fold it back. It should stay tight. I don't know if it'll be an issue of it coming undone later on. We will see. And then you just unfold that piece, leave that there, and then we're gonna go ahead and take the head out. The head just kind of wiggles around there, and I'm not really a fan of that, but yeah, it tabs in quite securely. These doodads don't move anymore like the original, which I'm fine with because they fall off on so many examples. Like it's not even funny. We continue with the backpack. We're gonna spin this all the way around, get these pieces to where they're facing like that, and then we're gonna position this like so. And then I think, yeah, there we go. Okay, we push that up, and then just kind of adjust everything to where it fits. And then there should be 2 slots right there, and as you adjust the wings, yeah, right like that. You just adjust the wings, and then actually that's not quite right. There we go. So the 2 tabs there will go right there, and you're just gonna marry that up right like that, and it'll fit securely together. And then you would just want to tab these pieces in there, kind of like have to guide yourself, and then fit that in like that, and then there you go. So that's Magnus's torso, and now we'll do the legs, which are just as easy. You just want to separate them like so, and then let's get Bumblebee out of the way there. You just want to fold this or slide this out and then fold it back in, and there's your foot. This will come in handy later when we get to Omega Prime. For now, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But fold out the thigh, fold that piece down, and then you just kind of want to finagle with the remainder of the carrier cage, and then you fold that in as well, and then we just repeat everything on this side. Just unfold, slide back in, fold that, fold all this around, peg it in, fold that down, and then push that in, and then fold up the thigh and get the crotch ready, which very suggestive. But we just plug that together and sliding the legs on right there. And now Magnus is finished, even though you cannot completely see him. But there we go. Now we're gonna do Prime. So we want to untab him from his rear section like on the original. We'll set that aside for now. And then this is basically like the original with some improvements, which is what I wanted for Magnus, but I'm not quite getting that there. But you just unfold those all the way like so. Then we separate here, unfold, telescope the body in like that. And then we unfold the arms and then pull them out all the way. And then we've got that going on. When the siren light bars fell off, and then we fold that up. Put that back on quick. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and fold the head out before we get everything else done. The head is now out, and then you fold the light bar up, and then we'll start on the legs. Fold the legs down, get everything situated correctly, and then we fold out the feet, fold out the heels, even though he really doesn't need them, but they do make him a little bit more stable. And then we are done with Prime. So yeah, these two are now finished in robot mode, which, let me go ahead and adjust the camera for you just a second. Yeah, they look good standing together. Love it. In robot mode, Magnus might still be considered an afterthought, but he is very cool looking. I have always loved this design. And guess what else? He's gigantic. I mean, in the show, he was always considered the tank of the group, but man, this is selling it well. He is huge compared to a normal deluxe. Here he is next to the original, and as you can see, the proportions are exactly identical to the original. His defining trait always was how long his legs were, at least in terms of design. His personality was a brash, angry, brooding dickhead who was always beefing with Optimus over the Matrix. But even though he doesn't look like it, he's a tank. But anyway, back to detailing. The head sculpt is a bit divisive. Me and my friends had similar criticisms about it, but now it's kind of grown on me a little bit. At first I thought it looked a bit off. But the longer I look at it and I've had this figure in hand, it's, like I said, grown on me. The smaller eyes and painted face I think are what threw me off at first, but I think it's fine. An annoyed expression or something like the original would have been fine, but this is okay too. Also, besides the ridiculous, awful, terrible quality control issue riddled Encore release, this is the first time that Autobot logo on his head has been correctly painted. He has some very good greeble detail on his arms, which is a staple on this figure. There's a lot of good detail on it. Also on his legs, for some reason, there's Mercedes logos. I don't really know what that's about because this isn't a Mercedes truck. His jetpack and wings are also way more sturdy than the original, but they also transform more clumsily, which I didn't think was possible considering the original transformed more clumsily than Marv in that green shit in the basement of Home Alone 2. As for features, he just stands there until you bring his conspicuous looking gun in and attach it as such, just like the original, into the tabs underneath his armpits, which it works really well. And it looks really cool when he holds it.
Switch to targeting computer.
Which, that's not all it can do, obviously. It's got a few more tricks up its sleeve, which means, yes, I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. I just wanted to build suspense. Man, this is a bit of a long one. Take this minute to get a break real quick. Get yourself a drink, have a piss. How am I doing? Could I fancy you with a subscribe? Maybe a like? Hey, I'm not complaining. I'm just glad you guys are here watching this. I just want to check in on you guys, see how you're doing. This is fun. We're having fun here. All right, David, they're tired of me hounding them. Back to the review. Say hello to Blue Bolts, everyone. A retcon character, as they tend to do with these weaponizers. I love it. She's a cool looking design. And yes, I said she's a female character. And honestly, she's the thing out of the set that I've been messing with the most. She's so posable. Like, you can get her in just about any pose that you want. Plus, you can pull her to absolute pieces and make her into about a million bajillion weapons for any figure that's got a 5mm port. The thing is, I'm still struggling to find a use for her torso. I don't know. Maybe she could sing Metallica from the sidelines. And you can also take her weaponry and store it inside Magnus's legs to give him some kind of gap fillage, I guess. And then you can take her torso and put it inside his chest. And it might not look that way at first, but she goes in pretty smooth.
That's what she said.
So hey, that's Ultra Magnus. He gets progressively cooler the more you mess with him, and he might seem simple at first, but I think he's pretty cool. Good lord, I squeezed 15 minutes out of this guy, and I called him an afterthought. So now let's talk Prime. This is a vast upgrade over the original in terms of accuracy, with a modern detail twist on it, of course. The proportions are near perfect, nailing that anime look he had going on, and the head sculpt, classic as it always was, and they nailed it here. It's also way more on point than the OG. That one wasn't bad, but it was a lot softer than it is on the new one. Also, those annoying vac metal parts are gone, so you don't have to worry about scratching him up during combination. You'll also notice he has a lot more depth due to how his chest is designed, which is nice. He doesn't need to look like he's a Paper Mario character. He's R.I.D. Optimus Prime, for God's sake. One of the most original takes on Optimus Prime since, like, I don't know, G1? Another thing that's new is his brake rotors on his legs are more detailed this time, but it might be because they're a separate piece. That's a little bit of a cheat, but oh well. His feet are improved as well with those heel spurs they gave him. These help a lot with some of the other functions we will see in a moment. Before we move on, I figure now is a good time to mention this. Some copies, not all but some, have had reports of Optimus's chest and midsection cracking. This is due to a design oversight within the chest. On TFW 2005, you can locate a way to fix it / preemptively fix it before it does that. However, mine has not done it yet, but I don't exactly have the time to fix it, so I'm just going to take it how it is and play it out. So just be aware on your copies if you have an Omega Prime. As we roll into his features, we have his ever so prominent sidearm gun, which is way better looking than the original here, I must add. It's got a lot better detail. You can also use certain blast effects if you have them. For once, I actually have a couple on hand. And you can also configure the rest of the fire truck to do the whole base thing. I never really cared for this myself, but it does look kind of cool, especially in this modernized take. But I could take it or leave it. I prefer to just completely take it apart and do his fire knuckle mode, which is ever so prominent with certain parts of the rear. You take these and put them on his shoulders. Then you take his super mode hands and just clip them in like you would, you know. And now you've got his fire knuckle mode. And it's even cooler when you bring in the stand, because one of the best times he fires them in the show is actually when he's airborne. Alright, enough screwing around so we can get to the super mode. The transformation to super mode is a modern reimagining of the original, with a few new steps to kind of improve it and stabilize it a little bit. I really enjoy how the feet work. It even allows for a pivot in the ankle, which was not possible on the original. And the way the torso locks on is way more secure than the original as well. However, I don't exactly care for how the shoulder pads work. That is my only caveat with this super mode. Even though they're secure, they're a little bit of a hassle to get on the correct way the first time. But overall, I still enjoy the conversion to super mode. This super mode is just as awesome as it used to look. Actually, no, it's even better. The joint tolerances are vastly superior to the OG, and it's just got a modern taste to it. The head sculpt is amazing looking. It might not be the typical Optimus Prime, but it sure sets itself apart. I am positive this is what inspired Armada Prime to deviate from the path. The rest of it is just excellent. This nifty clip in the back really solidifies the stability of the mode, and the way the legs are improved from the original, which are now capable of more sophisticated posing, and overall is just a more dynamic piece as opposed to the original. Again, the original isn't bad. This is one of the most iconic Transformers of all time, and I would venture to say it's one of the best Transformers ever made, but it has aged a little bit. If you would recall, this is the hybrid between the original American release and the
Red Splendid.
Cybertron release. Thank you, Boss Obsession. We do in fact refer to this thing as Red Splendid sometimes because this thing shares the same detailing and changes as the yellow Sam's Club variant. Just red. Literally. Look at it. So, besides stand there and look cool, what can this thing do? The orange sash can flip open and have the Matrix in there, which is also removable, which is cool. And actually, this is also possible on Magnus because he has a Matrix too, which was a plot twist in the show, which also made him look even more like a dickhead. He also has those iconic forearm cannons, which are also adjustable. And for those extra special moments, you can adjust the ladder to where it can go over his shoulder and fire the hose cannon out, and also use the missiles at the same time if you wanted to. And fully armored up together, these guys look excellent standing by each other. I love it. Now, what good are these two with all their accessories if they can't pose? Let's check that out right now. So, articulation on these guys, really good, because, I mean, Haslab, they've got the budget for it. We'll start with Magnus first. The head is on a ball joint. It's very tight at the moment. That's just how it is. It's a new toy, but it can go all the way around. You can get some good motion with it, and this will move a little bit too. The arms are on this joint here, can go all the way around on a mushroom peg, and then they can go out there, and they can also go out there. The elbows go in that far, and the wrists are on a swivel, and the biceps on a swivel as well. And actually, the wrist is on a ball joint like the original, and then the fingers can all move like that on a single hinge. There is no waist swivel to speak of just because of how he has to transform. He's got ratcheted hips. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got ratcheted knees that go way in there. And then the feet can pivot. So yeah, that's about it on Magnus. Not terrible. Kind of an afterthought, like I said, but he's still pretty good. Optimus, like I said, once again, meat and potatoes. He's got a ball jointed head as well. He can look way down like that if you put the hinge back on him. The arms can go all the way around. You just got to watch that piece right here. Might get in the way. Because of how this works, he can now go up that far. And then he's got great elbows. He's got a bicep. He's got a swivel on the wrist, and then the wrist can go down like that. His thumb can move like so, and his finger can move like so. He has a waist swivel, but I'm not sure how much you'd want to use it unless he's in his base form. He has hips that are ratcheted tight. He's got them going outward. He's got a thigh swivel there. He's got a knee swivel, which I hate when they do that. He's got good ratcheted knees, and he's got a good pivot on the feet, and the toe can go like that. So these are both very well articulated figures. I cannot complain about it at all. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. To prepare for Omega Prime. Optimus really doesn't change much except for pulling out his arms and getting him close to his first super mode preparation, like so. The big stuff comes from Magnus here. So what you want to do is just start basically drawing and quartering him. Take all of his limbs off, like so. Then from there, what we do is start unfolding everything and getting him ready to combine. So basically what you're going to start with is this area right here and then go from there. So get all of his jetpack doodads and everything started, get that flipped around like so, and then what you're going to do is work his head into the back here to where it is correctly situated and it can lock into place, but you want to make sure it's facing the other direction so it can go up into there, like there, where the tab is going up into there. And the head will be facing in that direction and covered up by the jetpack. That was one thing the original should have done, but they did not. From there, you just want to start getting everything kind of out of the way for Optimus to fit in. So you want to go here with the chest plate. Then what you're gonna do is fold this up, fold these up, or at least out, and then you're gonna disconnect this and fold it back like so. That will reveal the head, but we're gonna keep things here for now. But I think before that, we need to also fold this up too. We need to fold these out. I missed a step, my bad. But yeah, those need to be out, and then you can fold this up and kind of get everything ready to go. And then you just kind of, from there, just open everything up and then fold these pieces out. There we go. Now he is ready to combine. Now we got to get Optimus ready. So you want to take Optimus. Notice I have Magnus's hands open here. You want to match up each side like it's a handshake. So you want to take this hand like he's shaking hands with Optimus, and you want to take this tab here and plug it into the fist like that. And then you want to spin it to where the wheels are on the outside of his arm, and then you just want to close it up around, and there's an arm. And then we do the same step on the other side like so. And there, he's almost ready. Now we need to take the crotch and split it in half like so. And then we're going to start basically transforming him back to his truck mode with a few more steps. So we go here, we fold this up. Instead of crumbling it one direction, we're going to go the other way now. And now we basically have a shin guard for Optimus, except now you're going to tab this into the side here, and then you're going to make sure that this is lined up correctly, because as that lines up, this entire assembly is going to basically accordion down and fit snugly underneath the leg there. And if you've done it right, which I'm not sure that I have, it should fit without any bounce there. Yeah, I've done it. So the last thing we need to do is push this little piece down. There'll be an opening there, and then that will be right there. And now this is ready for combination. And now we have the same on the other side. So we're basically ready to combine. First, we're gonna plug in his foot and make sure it's right and correctly situated, just like the other super mode, just like that. And then you're gonna turn it correctly to where it's facing, and then you're gonna peg it in here, and then on the side you're gonna peg it in for a little extra support, and then you're gonna fold up the shin guard, and now you've got a complete leg. And now we're gonna follow through and do the exact same thing on this side, like so. Peg that in, peg this one in, once you line it up correctly, and then plug that one in, and now we've got some legs. You want to make sure that everything, both of these tabs are lined up with these two here. So you're gonna slide it down over the Prime torso and then kind of finagle with it a little bit, and then it will nicely tab in. Fold this first piece down, accordion the rest of this chest piece back. There's like some hinges right there and there. That's a crucial step to kind of close the gap in front of his head. You're gonna fold that down, and then push it all the way after you've gotten the pieces folded forward. Get that all the way in there. Adjust your chest plate, and then adjust his head just right. And finally, we have reached his super mode of Omega Prime. This is Omega Prime, the main event of the set and the main appeal of this set in the first place. And dear God in heaven, was this thing worth it? Just look at it. It is the ultimate upgrade from what the original was. The original was a cool toy, but became very impractical as it got older. Very top heavy and even harder to pose. This thing is truly an upgrade. I realize we're in this weird contrarian era of Transformers where there's at least one person yelling at the cloud saying, "Why can't you just release the original today?" Well, they did. And what exactly happened? We've been over this. That Encore version is absolutely awful, and this is probably your best shot at getting a new version of that design. Nevertheless, I love this thing. It's probably my favorite combination Optimus has besides maybe Revenge of the Fallen and Cybertron, so the ones that make him fly. Also, this thing is freaking gigantic. Like, he is huge. After seeing that and how intricate this combined form is, it just makes sense why this had to be a Haslab. Let's talk detailing just one more time. The head sculpt is a bit similar to Prime's, but it's got a few extra details as well as those gold antennae. I've always liked the look of this head design, and the gold accents just make it perfect. My only issue is the gold pieces can fall off, and that could risk scratching the back metal.
Damn it!
But everything else here is just great. The red, white, and blue color scheme suits this so well, and the back metal on the chest plate is so good looking. So what else can this thing do besides stand there and look like a badass? Well, all the things that I've gone over previously apply here, like the stand and the Blue Bolts application. But we have to talk about my favorite thing to come in this set, the Matrix Blade. This is my favorite weapon in Transformers. Keep your fusion cannons, keep your ion blasters, hell, keep your Ironhide cannons, and your Star Saber too. Fuck all that. I want this thing, which goes slash, and then there's no more anything. This thing has appeared 3 times in mass markets, and it's always been in Japan only. And every single time it has sucked because of QC issues or it just being a brittle piece of plastic. But this thing goes out of its way to make sure it's the best version. I mean, I would hope so. It's got some very nice cyberglyphics at the bottom. It's got very, very nice segmented detail as well. And it's adjustable. So there's that. If you wanted your Fortress Maximus to hold this for whatever reason, you can. You're free to do so. I don't really know why, but you can have him do that. Also, I cannot undersell how big this damn thing is. Like, it's huge. And here Omega Prime is holding it, and to be honest, I could not ask for a better display option for this guy. This looks wonderful, especially with the display stand. It's just great, and him just standing there with it is cool. It's so awesome. Overall, I think this is an excellent set. It's one of my favorites that I've gotten this year, even though it took over a year for it to get released, which is just nuts for a Haslab. But at the same time, I don't understand why there were so many figure-breaking QC problems when it took them this long. However, these problems are not as big of an issue as people think they are. They're few and far between. But there are issues, and if you have them, please tell Hasbro. Don't be those people who fearmonger and make mountains out of molehills. But then again, welcome to the internet. I know people want to know, is this the best Haslab? Well, I'd say it's subjective. In my opinion, I think it is. I think you get just as much out of this as you do Starsaber, if not more, and I know it's better than Unicron. And even though Deathsaurus is great, I think this still has a lot more going for it. But again, it's all up to preference. I think it's a solid release, and if you ordered one, I think you'll really be pleased with it. But good luck trying to find one if you didn't. Finding a Haslab in the wild for a good price is absolutely crazy these days. But hey, thanks for watching if you made it this far. I've been Treebot, and until next time, keep growing your collections.